Okay.
Okay, welcome everybody to our Tuesday night team call. And this is a really awesome close-up of me with sweaty hair and everything. I love it. Coming to you live. Okay, so thank you for getting on. I know that this is kind of a busy time. We've got a bunch of stuff going on. We're getting ready for conference. It is April, and April last year, just to put it in perspective, was the busiest, biggest, most colossal month that we've ever had as a team in our business. Not only did we meet the requirements for NMD, but we blew them out of the freaking water. And I just want to remind you all of that because that's what we're capable of. And it's just absolutely incredible what happens when we all put our mind and our focus in the same place. So what we've been kind of doing in this last 2-week period where I have not been able to talk, I've been doing a lot of thinking and listening and watching and observing, and I've gotten on a lot of calls. And I've partnered up with a bunch of really awesome superstar leaders. So some of which, Kim McCall, which I think some of you know her, is she's on the East Coast. She just got 50 Club. She is really amazing. She comes with a sales background and a corporate structure very similar to mine. So her and I think a lot alike. And I've been picking her brain about some stuff. And so she was able to kind of share some thoughts and ideologies along with Sherry Stabile and Beth Meyer, who's coming on later, and some of these women that I just really admire and respect. And I think that the beauty of what we do, you guys, is that we're constantly learning and growing. And so if you surround yourself with people that challenge you, all of those people, have bigger paychecks than I do. They all bring in bigger numbers, bigger teams, recruit better, do all these things. And I'm constantly putting myself in situations that I can be, like the small fish in the big pond kind of thing, because I think that if you continually try to expand your own skill sets, you end up in such a different place than you ever could have, before. And so what I'm asking you guys to do in the beginning of this year, if you remember, I kind of picked a motto for think bigger. So this is the action game and action steps that we're going to put into place as a team to try to help everybody create some kind of consistency in their business and have some kind of behavioral mindset around what we should be doing each month as like the check marks of what leads to success, right? Because we start out really well, but it's what happens after that matters too. And so what happens after that is what we teach our downlines, and they learn by watching us. So it starts with me, and I'm going to take full responsibility that I have not recruited frontline nearly as much as I should be doing on a regular basis to lead and guide you guys to success. I got caught up in a lot of like securing the base and, customer care calls and reaching out to inactive reps and like what some might call management mode. I don't know, I don't like that term. I do understand what they mean by it, that the point is to always be forward thinking and growing and building and growing and building and growing and building. And like we say all the time, falling in love with the process. So the process in our business is really collecting customers and building up reps. And the way that we do that is by having conversations. So nothing happens unless we talk, which again, I am modeling something good because clearly I'm talking a lot. And there has been a ton of opportunity around me most recently and lately because I've been inserting myself into these places. I know Danielle's been doing a tremendous amount of activity on the East Coast, and a lot of you guys are playing along with her, which is great. But taking a look at our calendar and really owning that action, is what's going to lead you and guide you to success. And those consistent paychecks too, which is what we want. We want everybody's paycheck to be going up each month, really. You should be giving yourself a pay raise. I heard Mitra Ray say on a call on Friday that in this business, you should be giving yourself $100,000 income raise each year in this business. That what makes us unique, one is that we don't talk about the money enough, but the truth is that we can go as wide as we possibly want to in this company. They give us the opportunity for exponential unlimited income. And so many of us, the only limitations we put on ourselves is what's in our own head. So I really want you guys to be thinking over the next couple of weeks of like, what would be that number? And we asked this on the entry, the startup question checklist, but what would be that number that really would excite you that you aren't at yet, that something stretches you beyond where you're right now, okay? That number in your paycheck that would show up each month that would really excite you and get you like motivated, right? That would make it worth it, like make all the activity and the energy and all that worth it. The no's, the yeses, the, you know, the learning curves, all of it. And then I also want you to give yourself a stretch goal. Like, okay, what's a number that you never thought you could possibly attain from an income? And that's a really serious question. That's going to take a little bit of time and thought maybe. But like, I asked myself that question the other day. I was like, what number hasn't ever come into my mind as a possibility? Like, I'm really comfortable with the idea of a $10,000 paycheck. Super comfortable with that. I've made it before. I feel like that's something I can do, and I know I can do it here, and I know how. And but what about beyond that? Like, what about that piece of it? Like, what's the part that scares you, you know? And so I really want to ask you guys, you know, and it could be different. It's going to be different for everybody. So there's no judgment associated with this, but they're just numbers. So I want to use it as a kind of a conversation tool. So jot those down if you know what they are. Keep them to yourself. And then, and let's be talking about that in the next couple of weeks, okay? And then in the meantime, what I want to do here is, I'm just checking to see who's on the line. I want to go ahead and I want to show you what I put together. And this is going to have a part 2. So I'll read the part 2 because I just didn't have enough time to put the image in place. But I'll show you what it looks like from now on. So when I first started, not first started, but I would say about 6 years ago, when I kind of like was getting serious about the business, one of the programs that they had in place was called a 5-1, okay? And what that meant was you added 5 customers and 1 new rep team member to your business every month. And when you did that, they'd give you a $100 bonus from the company. And if you did it consecutively, so like you did it, let's say March, then you do it again in April, they'll give you $100 in March, but they'll give you $200 in April. And then $200 in May and June and July, and as long as you can go. It's an extra $2,400 a year for people, right? So it was a really easy way to add consistently and stay really focused on that as your minimum activity. Well, our team is like really good at adding customers, but the stretch thing for us is really focusing on the team conversation. And I think part of that just comes from the fact that we love each other so much. We've gotten really comfortable. And I get it. I totally get it. There's nothing wrong with that. It's a beautiful place to be. But at the same time, I think what we need to do for each other and for our team and for our downlines and for our friends and for our families is to really start to expand that concept and start bringing people in. And I want to crush the idea that they have to be a customer first, because they do not have to be a customer first. I did not sign up as a customer first. I signed up as a rep and a customer on the same day because the business made sense to me and because I wanted a discount and because my dad wasn't going to buy it from anybody else. So there were all those 3 things combined, but there were reasons. So looking and talking to people about the reasons, trying to figure out like, what is it that excites them? The higher level salespeople, the higher level professionals are not necessarily going to be drawn to fruits and vegetables in a capsule. They're very much going to be drawn to a business opportunity that gives them time freedom and financial recurring income. You know, those are things that are hot buttons for people. That residual paycheck, you guys, when 6,000 or 7,000 shows up, like regardless of whatever you do that month, if you're away in Hawaii for a month and you get it anyway, if you take 2 months off to do, you know, handle or take care of an ailing parent or a, you know, a daughter, a child or whatever. I mean, it's freedom. It's freedom that most people never will ever have a chance to even experience in their lifetime. So what I'm challenging you guys to do is trust me enough in this next 6-month journey to help you build that so you know what it feels like for you so that you can help translate it for other people. Okay? And the way that we're going to do that is I'm going to show you I'm going to share some content. Hold on. From my photos. And camera roll. I think it's this one. Done. Okay. Can you guys see all that? I need somebody to say yes because I can't see you.
Yes.
Okay, good. Okay. So what we're looking to do is put more cash in your pocket and get you excited about the activity. And I'm calling it Cash for Courage because this theme keeps coming up over and over again lately, which is just that it takes courage to go out and have those conversations. Like today, I'll give you an example of what happened. I was in line at Target and Francesca was in the front and she has that silver tooth. she looks over in the boy in front and he has a couple silver teeth in his mouth too. And she goes, oh, do you have a silver tooth? And he like didn't hear her. And she was really curious because she hasn't seen anybody else yet with one. And she was like, do you really? She's like, wait, no. What I'm asking you is, do you have a silver tooth? And so I had to step in. His mom and I were talking and we're like, oh, and she's like, oh, he's got a couple. And he had like 5. And she's like, I can't get him to brush. He won't eat the right things. Like it was, the conversation ensued. So here I was talking to another mom all over a silver tooth, but it was the courage to ask her, have you ever heard of Juice Plus? Have you ever heard of that? Oh, good. Beth. Hi, Beth.
Hi.
I can't see you yet, but I'm about to go over this little activity incentive, and then I'm going to give you the floor. So give me like a couple minutes here. Thank you for coming on.
My pleasure.
All right. So in this, interaction that I have with her, it was that courage step. It was that I didn't have to. We had a nice little conversation. We were in the line. There was, time pressure, of course, because she's checking out. She's almost done. Her mom's with her. They were trying to get out to go someplace, you could tell. But I had to ask her because it was the right thing to do for them, right? They needed to know about this. And I said to her, yeah, it's this really cool stuff. It's, superfoods in a capsule or a chew. And I said, you might want to lean away from the chews if he's already got cavities. She goes, well, we struggle with that. But honestly, if it's a way to get fruits and vegetables in, like I would do anything to do that. He doesn't go to the bathroom. She's like, he doesn't poop. So, and this happens all the time, you guys. But, here she was, this is a mother in need, right? So I got her to give me her phone. I said, here, I'll give you my phone. Text me right now. And as soon as I get home, I'll send you some info. And we got into conversation right there. But it's having that courage to take that step. Having the focus point, putting them before you. Like it was an inconvenient time for me as well. I had a lot going on. My kids are climbing out of the thing. Like stuff is dropping all over the place, but it's having those consistent, conversations. And I find that it requires more courage truly when we're inviting to team, because it's just not a skill that we've adopted as a team quite yet. And again, I'm taking full responsibility for this. And this is why I have Beth on the phone tonight, because I want her to help us gain some perspective around why building a team is so incredibly important, and why letting go a little bit and trusting the process a little bit more is going to serve us all so well. And, I'll go through this sheet here and just explain kind of our focus for the next 90 days. And then I'll have her finish up with, again, kind of the philosophies behind, what their team does and what she's been taught, because it is different and foreign to us as an organization. And I really want to bring some of that in to help strengthen your paycheck and strengthen your future here, because I love you guys and I really want you to have a great time, growing your business with this team. So the Cash for Courage action steps, this is what we're focused on, is bringing, if you want to play at the tier 1 level, which is kind of like just the basic entry point, which is what you should be doing as a minimum every month. We're going to pay you for it because we want to get people, who aren't doing this to start, is bring in 5 customers and 1 new team member every single month. Okay. Every month you do that, you're going to get $25. We're going to cash app it to you right at the end of the month. As soon as you hit it, you get it. Number 2, the option here is if you take a step further and you see the difference in money, you bring in 5 customers, but you bring in 2 team members. The exponential increment of that, you guys, is powerful, and it's paying us, so we're going to pay you. So 5 and 2, you get $50 cash in your pocket. Okay. Tier 2, if you want to play a step further, and this is the language that Kim McCall shared with me, was she teaches her team when they're ready. She says, when you're ready, I want you to tell me, you come to bat. And she uses the baseball analogy, which we'll reintroduce over the summer. But she says, I'm really good. And I'm going to say it. I'm really good at what I do. If you put people on the phone with me, I'm very, very confident that within a 90 to 95% chance, we're going to close that opportunity. Or we're going to move them further than they were before. But something good is going to come from that. So I'm challenging you guys to, for those of you who want to take that extra step, you're going to be focusing on 8 and 1 or 8 and 2. And if you do that 3 months in a row, you have a customer qualified business and that residual paycheck that we're talking about. And your team is watching you do that because you're bringing them on in the time frame while you're building that. And then they're going to do the same because you're encouraging them to play along as well. So you see how the math works out there. Okay. But for that 8 and 1, you get $75. For 8 and 2, you get $100 cash every month in addition to your paycheck. So I really want you guys to think about how this can duplicate and how quickly we can start to grow as a team And then we're going to take it a step further and we're going to add a back end payout. So for those people who are really engaged growing their business and they show up to conference in Indianapolis, those people get an opportunity to win additional cash. If you sponsor 3 or more reps in a month, we're going to give you $100 cash in addition to this stuff. So maybe you earn $100 because you did 8 customers and then you brought in 3 reps. You're also going to get another $100 in cash at conference. So you can see how this adds up quickly, right? And then if you get customer qualified and you stay there 3 months in a row, you're going to get another $100 at conference. If you build a 3 club, you're going to get $100 at conference. You could get 300 just off of those 3 things. You build a 6 club, we're going to give you 200. And if you build a 12 club, we're giving you 300. So we're willing to pay where the activity is because we know that the activity is what builds your business. Okay. And that's just what I wanted to leave you with. But the focus for the next 90 days is just, it's going to be expanding the team. So, you know, we can use the word recruit. We can use the word invite. We can use the word, you know, it's not a solicitation necessarily, but it's really an invitation to bring people on board, right? The more conversations you have around that, the more you're going to get good at it and the more people that are to say yes. And I have to say that in the beginning, I may have had to ask people multiple times, but in the end, 90% of those people have said yes at some point, which is so cool. So sometimes it takes Lisa's laughing because, yeah, half you on the phone, right? So you see the point why time can work in your favor or against you. If you're asking
years in the making, years.
Right. But if you're having more conversations sooner, then more people get to decide. More people get in that funnel. More people are thinking about it, right? So the point of doing this is to bring up our qualifiers, increase the size of our team, and build clubs. We want to build clubs, and that's what it's all about. Fast track to sales coordinator club levels. So it's not, we want to go to 39 club. That's really the focus of where we're going right now. We're building everything to get Danielle to 12. We're going to hit 24 along the way and close out with 39. But the way that we're going to do that is by building clubs underneath you guys so that you're building along with us. It's not fun for me to go, oh, I taught 39 random people to qualify a business. No, we want to build teams within teams within teams. So Beth, I want to turn it to you because you are the guru and she is my mentor. And I can't tell you how much I learned from this beautiful, amazing person on a daily basis. And would you step in and help us out a little bit?
My pleasure. You are so sweet. And I love listening to you. You just have so much, I don't know, amazing. I love your energy. I love listening to you talk, and you're just incredible. And thank you so much for sharing your wisdom on our team, the page that our team created, the Quarter Life page, because that was amazing. So I really appreciate you coming on and sharing your heart there. It really impacted a ton of people.
Oh.
So you said something a few minutes ago about being different and foreign, and that's probably my middle name. And I do like that. But so I came into this business, and I was raised in the Cortese organization, and I stick by, what I call sort of the Jeff, Cheryl, Cynthia school of thought. And that really is about recruiting and large distribution channels. And whether you're in this business and you're all about the mission, or you're all about the money, or you're somewhere in between mission and money, there's no way for you to do either one of those things without significant recruiting. You can't grow your mission if you don't grow your team, because you only know the number of people that you know. And so one of the analogies I use all the time, and I think it just because most people can understand it, is, and kind of see it, but if Starbucks had their one beautiful, place out in Seattle, they could do well, and they could have a nice business and, maybe put some kids through college and, have a nice little business, but they're not going to build a legacy without building large distribution channels. Starbucks on every corner, on every street, wherever we go. So that's why Starbucks is a household name. Not maybe, I personally don't even like their coffee, but that's kind of neither here nor there. It wouldn't be a household name if it wasn't everywhere. And every single person has either, gotten water there, coffee there, gone to the bathroom there, grabbed something for their kids there. We all know what Starbucks is because of what they've done. They have managed to have these massive distribution channels, little franchises, little stores everywhere across the country and across the world. We all know that universal thing across the world. Imagine if you did that with your business. If you had, franchised yourself across your state, your country, across the world, you're going to have large distribution channels. And some of your franchises are going to do a ton of business, and some of your franchises are going to do a teeny, teeny, tiny bit of business. But it's all of that activity that's going to help you move this mission forward of inspiring healthy living and making a difference in many, many lives, many more than any one of us could ever do on our own. And just look at us on this phone. I mean, had Melissa not spoken to some of you, had my daughter not connected with Melissa, I wouldn't even know you guys. I wouldn't know Melissa. I wouldn't know Danielle. I wouldn't know half the people in this business if I didn't choose to, open my mouth and get to know them. And yes, they're already in this business, but I've also chosen to connect with them and have sideline friends. And so when it comes to recruiting, it's really, really, really important to remember that this is, I think most of you probably feel like it's an obligation to share the product at this point. It's you feel that sense of, how can I not? I have to tell this person. The business is the exact same thing. I mean, I'm a divorced single mom. My ex-husband has never given me a penny. So what if? I mean, I had a mortgage company that I think we all know where the mortgage industry went, in a handbasket and really fast, and had my doctor, who I was seeing while I was not well, not allowed me to explore this, not allowed me to know what this is. I have no idea where my daughter and I would be. Now, granted, for Tamara, my upline, Dr. Sachs, that was a very awkward position for her to be in. She had a sick patient, single mom, who was asking her about the business, and all she could do was tell me. And she couldn't keep it from me, even though we talk about saying, she said it was really awkward. You were sick, and I'm telling you about a business when, that really isn't what I wanted to be doing. I just wanted to be helping you get better. But she didn't take that from me. And she didn't say, oh, well, you know what? She's a single mom, too much on her plate. She's not well. I mean, obviously she knows my medical history. My adrenal glands were failing. So the last thing I needed was one more thing on my plate. And I'm grateful. I'm grateful that she let me choose. I'm grateful that I've had the opportunity to step in and do this and change our lives and have the security and the freedom and the flexibility and all of that stuff. But no one decided for me. And if I didn't want to do it, well, I could have said that too. And I think that's really what this comes down to, is just looking at this exactly the same way as you look at the product. That every time you offer the product, the business gets mentioned. And it doesn't get mentioned in a, you want some Juice Plus and you want to join my team, I have a really good business for you because I know you hate not like that. Obviously, I think you guys know what I mean. But just, somehow kind of putting out there that it's a business, or this is your business, or, you have the greatest person, I love your personality. I want more people like you on my team. Just little tiny things that you can say to people to make them feel warm, to make them feel welcome, to make them feel invited. Just get really, really good at recruiting. And the recruiting numbers are big numbers. So if you're putting on 1, challenge yourself to put on 3 to 5 this month. And you'll see what happens when you start to do that is you get really, really good at it. And then you care deeply about everybody you bring in, but the people who don't thrive and the people who don't move forward and, like cream rises to the top, the people who don't want more, they're still going to be grateful they're here. They're going to love their product. And you may even have a few, family plan type distributors, even though that may not be what we're looking for. You'll end up with that, but you'll end up with maybe 3, 4, 5 of them this month. And if all they ever do is their HLP, well, guess what? That's probably 15 customers more than you had in your business last month. So they're not all going to be rock stars. That's not what I'm saying at all. I mean, I can tell you the number of, team I have and how many, do whatever they do. And about 10% of the people you bring in are going to really do something of any significance and get their business qualified. So just think big and think of making a huge impact. And in order to do that, you need to bring in big numbers to make the impact that you want to make. And the impact you want to make might be small. You may be really content with a couple $100s a month, and that's totally fine. Just make sure that your activity and production matches that. Does that make sense? So if you're looking to reach a lot of people, or if you're looking to, make a dent in childhood obesity, or you're looking to, make a dent in cardiovascular disease, or whatever your thing is, because I think we all have one, whether it's children's health or something, we all have something. Think about what your thing is, and then think if your activity is giving you the reach that you really want to have and the impact that you really want. And if it's not, it's going to come down to bringing people onto your team to help you do that. Does that make sense to everybody? Kind of?
Yeah, totally.
Yes. Yeah. Melissa, was there anything else? I want to be respectful of time and make sure I answer any questions that you had or touch on whatever you wanted me to.
You know, it something like sparked in my brain as I was thinking about this, because there are some people on this phone that, you know, they have huge customer bases, but not so much in terms of the team. The team is the side. And it's almost like, as I was looking at these numbers, for those people, it's almost like the numbers need to flip flop. Like we put up 5 and 1 and 5 and 2 and 1 and 8. It almost means like, you know, like you need to go the opposite direction. Like maybe you bring on 2 customers, but 5 new reps this month. You know?
I agree completely. And I would say that for anyone who has that, and I do have some people like that in my business where they really are, they're retailers and phenomenal at it.
Yeah.
Do some customer care calls with the most seasoned upline that you do them with. And the reason I'm saying that is a customer care call can turn into, I don't know if you guys all know Chris Strobes, but she calls them gold mining calls, because if you reach out to these people, these 50, 60, 70 customers that you have, and you are asking, you know, about them and just about their Juice Plus experience, and you're just connecting with them, and it's a third party thing. So maybe it's Melissa on the phone with you and she's asking them some good questions. You know, she can ask them, have you ever thought about sharing that with other people? Your story is amazing. That would inspire so many people. I mean, there are different ways that you can say these things to make people feel valued, not threatened, to make people feel wanted, not hunted, to make people feel like they're part of something and they're contributing. And because we never know what's really going on behind closed doors, you might make that call and it might be the call that was needed that day for whatever reason. Someone maybe just needs to hear something good about themselves. And there's no human on the planet that doesn't want to hear something good about themselves.
Right.
And that doesn't mean they'll join you. It doesn't mean that, but it's going to leave a really good taste in their mouth, and they may just refer you to somebody, or they may want to join you. They may be so impressed by your level of customer care and service that you got this other person, you know, on the phone to check in and see how they're doing and hear their story and share their heart, that they just may want to, you know, may recommend someone to you. So just want to, you know, kind of throw that out there, that those customer care calls are absolute magic if they're done well. And I heard Melissa say she's really good at what she does, and she is. And so, you know, if you want to put as many people in front of Melissa and Danielle as you possibly can, and as many people as you can. If there are any other leaders on the phone, I apologize. I just know Melissa and Danielle, and I can't see you guys because it's Passover and my mom's going to have my head for even being on this call, but that's okay. You guys are worth it. So I couldn't get on Zoom. I had to sneak downstairs and get on the phone. Yes, at my age, I'm still going to get in trouble when I go back upstairs. It's all good. You guys are worth it. So just lots of you get qualified. So when my mom hands me my tush on a platter, I know it's all worth it because you're, you know, way past 39 club and on to 100 club. So I would just, that's my suggestion, is do some customer care calls and challenge yourselves. I mean, just do that scary thing, step outside what feels comfortable, step outside what you know, and just give it a shot. I mean, what do you have to lose? It's kind of like when someone says to you, you know, I don't know. What do they have to lose by adding Juice Plus to their diet? A little bit of money. I mean, what's the worst that happens? They get a little healthier and they spend some money, and that's kind of, that's the downside. So, the same thing with doing some recruiting. What's the worst that happens? I mean, the worst that happens is someone says no to you. You've all heard that before. And the upside is someone's going to say yes. If
Right.
you're asking enough times and you're sharing enough, someone's bound to say yes. And it's probably going to be the least likely person that, you have all these names in your head right now. And I can guarantee you that it's the one, it's the one that you don't think is going to say yes will. So just take all the preconceived stuff, the judging stuff that we all do, and just start sharing the business and challenge yourselves. Really, really just challenge yourselves to reach far and wide. And see if you can bring on 5 new frontline this month.
Yeah, and what's funny too is I think of, as I'm watching like the faces and stuff on the call, part of it too, I think sometimes is that when we get really busy, like we just have really busy lives, we think, oh gosh, I can't bring on like a team member. but having team is what sets you free when you have a busy life. If you have like, not a lot of time in the day and you can build a team of 25 other people that are going out and talking about Juice Plus, or 300 people that are going and talking about Juice Plus, it gives you a ton of time back, so you invest a little bit in the beginning to have those conversations and bring them on and get them started. But again, we're here to help you do that. So I don't want anyone to ever feel like, oh, I can't get this person going because, I'm just not seasoned at that. That's what we're here for, right? Is to help you all through that. So I just want you to know that my focus is 100% in this space right now. And I think Gina fell off the line, but what I wanted to say too for her was that, her business is built on tower gardens and she has a farm and she's an ACR. So for her, we're going to allow her to play along with this contest, but change the numbers a little bit for her. So it's 3 and 1. So 3 tower gardens and 1 new team member, and 3 and 2 and vice versa. So I'll move that along too. So if you come across, I think those are the 2 underutilized tools that we have right at the moment, is we're not selling tower gardens nearly enough and we're not bringing on enough team. And so if we fix those 2 things and combine that with consistent activity, and doing what we're already doing in addition, it's going to blow up, you guys. We're going to have so much fun. So that's really
recruiting's magic. I mean, I have to just say it's fun, it's magical, and it brings new life into your business that words can't really even explain. And when you're all doing it in bigger numbers, and I just throw out the number 5. I like the number 5 because we get paid 5 levels deep. We need 5 SCs to go NMD. So 5 is the number that sticks in my head for everything. So I'm going to, challenge you guys all 5 new frontline by the end of this month. And you'll see it's fun. It's actually fun. And it might sound kind of like a lot. It might sound scary. It might sound like whatever. It's not. It's actually fun. And it infuses this energy into your business. And then the new people see new people who see new people who see new people, and they turn around and duplicate. That's the other thing that happens when you do it right out of the gate. So when you say to a new person, then this is what I say. So we say, in the first 48, 72 hours, we do this first little thing, which we don't really even count as a promotion. It's called your HLP, and that's your stuff. And, 1 or 2, friends, family, whatever, 2 orders outside your household, you'll get $100 for that. And then in your first week or 2, do your 2,000 plus, which will get you to 14%, give you your, blah, 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 tell them what that is. And we do that with your orders, so your HLP, and then 3 to 5 friends who do the exact same thing. Well, guess what? Right out of the gate, they have some team. Do they all have 3 to 5? No. Most of them have 2. If we fall really short, they have 1. But they turn around and tell the same story. So if they bring in 2 and they say, well, we bring in 3 to 5, if one of them brings in 3, that's a pretty nice start for a new person in their first month. They have, 5, 6, 7 people on their team. And it adds up quickly. And then, as well as I do, that as people drop out and they don't continue and they don't move along and all that stuff, you now have a team to work with. So if person A isn't working, maybe B and D and F are working. So it's important right out of the gate to sort of set that, this is what we do, 3 to 5 people, and they'll fall short, but so what?
Yeah. Do you guys have any questions for Beth? I know we're at the time, so I want to respect everybody's time, and I want to respect your holiday too, Beth. I really appreciate you coming on for us.
Oh, my pleasure.
Does anybody want to unmute and ask a question around this? And this is, if you've got the question, I guarantee somebody else does too.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm here, so ask away.
No questions.
All right. Well,
but I like
sure.
that. I like that bringing on. And I think we've had our seasons where we have kind of done that, but we have recruited heavy, but then it's fallen off. And it's true for those that haven't been on the team when we were in that growth mode, it is exciting and it is a lot of fun and it just moves fast and there's lots of energy and it was duplicating. So, if Melissa was doing it, then I was doing it, then Michelle was doing it, or, like Chrisanne, like it was, that's how it was all happening. And so we all have the potential to do that again, certainly. And it's exciting.
And I think all holding each other accountable, if you see that one of the things we do as a Cortese team, the NMDs meet every Monday morning, and we talk about all this kind of stuff, and we talk about the pendulum swinging. And if you guys on your team, hold yourselves accountable. If you see the pendulum starting to swing on your team back to, customer acquisition and away from distributor acquisition, then talk about it. Somebody bring it up. Don't sit with your tail between your legs. You have a responsibility to all of your team to say, hey, guys, look at where we were 2 months ago. We had, welcome this one, welcome that one. And now this month we've had nothing. Let's step our game up, because you guys can hold each other accountable. And that's the nice thing about being a team and truly working together as a team towards any goal, is that you can do that with to and for each other, and just say, hey, we're kind of off the mark here. We need to reevaluate what we're doing. It's not working, or we're far off what we said we were going to do. So, I would just hold each other accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Totally.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that.
All right, you guys, go crush this goal.
Yeah.
Because I know if anyone can do it, it's you guys. Good night, everyone.
Thank you.
Thanks, Beth.
All right,
Thank
you guys,
you.
I just want to say in closing, does the cash thing, is that fun? Does that keep it like exciting? Because we do want feedback, but I just felt like something to put money in people's pockets to get your brain thinking about the behaviors. I mean, does this sound all good to you?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I mean, because you can use it as a recruiting tool and say, look, our leadership team pays us to do the work we're supposed to do to build a business. If we're doing the right stuff, we get extra money for that. I mean, that's the investment we're making right now. So, so I really just want you guys to take that with your, hopefully that'll be a little bit of a jolt and get things moving in the right direction. There was something else I wanted to say and it's escaping me right now. Oh, last thing. So in efforts to do a lot more three-way calls, you guys, and get that, like utilizing that tool, because it is the number one thing. And Christiana, I have to applaud you and Buffy and Danielle. You guys have been, I think, the number one people who utilize that. And they're just magical. They really are. I mean, some of the conversations we've had with these people are just like, it's amazing what unfolds, And so I didn't say that to be cocky. I said it to build confidence in your thinking that these are things that are a good thing. Like the more you plug in, the faster you're going to grow. And the truth of it. So what I'm going to do is start putting out on like a daily or semi, regular basis. Like, okay, I've got time today and I'm going to start doing 20-minute increment calls. So I'll let you know when I can carve out like 20, an hour or two. And it may be that just that, like an hour in the morning, an hour at night. I've got 3 slots here and 3 slots here. Who wants them? Just message me, or, that we can start filling in that way, because I think that will help. And if you have things that, people or time slots that work for you better, that, hey, listen, I'm a couple days out, maybe on Thursday at 10 o'clock, you're going to have some time to make some calls and you want assistance in that time, then put the request in early so I can, make a point to get that done and on the calendar. Okay. But if we do this together, you guys, it's going to go quick and it's going to go fun and it's going to bring some excitement back to everything. And, that's where we want to be.
Yeah. The show.
There she is.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Are we all good? Any other questions before we hang up?
Good. Let's go get them.
All right. Thanks, you guys.
Get it done.
Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Good night.
Bye-bye.